It's 6:03 on Wednesday, July 2nd. We are at 70 degrees. Morning rain, afternoon clearing, highs upper 80s. Good morning. I'm Michelle Basch.
I'm John Aaron. The top local story we're following. Reactions coming in from all around the region on the Trump administration's announcement that it plans to move the FBI headquarters a few blocks down Pennsylvania Avenue to the Reagan Building. The latest from WTOP's Alan Etter.
It ain't over till it's over.
Maryland Congressman Glenn Ivey is one of a slew of officials in the state who want the federal government to honor its original deal struck during the Biden administration to bring the FBI headquarters to Greenbelt.
The money has been appropriated for the Greenbelt site. It was selected after a 10-year plus process. That's the law as it stands, and we want to keep it on track.
Ivey and virtually every local Maryland politician issued a joint statement promising to dig in their heels over this. D.C.'s Deputy Mayor for Economic Development, Nina Albert, said in a statement, emailed to WTOP, "Our nation's capital is the best home for federal agencies, including the FBI." Meanwhile, in Virginia, Senators Kaine and Warner stated jointly, the move isn't a plan, it's a punt, calling it a hasty, improvised approach. Alan Etter, WTOP News.
Meanwhile, a former General Services Administration leader says the money that was set aside can be moved despite the change of location for the FBI's HQ. More on this from WTOP's Neil Augenstein.
The legal authority to actually move the money is provided in advance when the money is appropriated.
Dan Matthews was commissioner of GSA's Public Building Service.
Now, in practice, the administrations honor that request, and they go back to the Congress and they say, hey, things have changed. We wanted to spend the money on a different project for these reasons. Here's a justification for it. This is what we would do. Here's all the information you might need. And they seek permission. And Congress usually grants it to them. The committees usually grant it to them.
Matthews was appointed during President Trump's first term. He told WTOP's Nick Iannelli the project didn't start as an economic development project. It's because the existing FBI headquarters is falling apart.
Has been falling apart for a long time.
Neil Augenstein, WTOP News.
Some large teen gatherings have turned violent in the district. Now WTOP's Mike Murillo reports city leaders hope an expanded summer youth curfew will help.
There have been several instances with large groups of teens gathered,
where multiple fights have broken out, robberies and assaults, in some cases shootings and stabbings have occurred.
Ward 2 Council Member Brooke Pinto's bill, which was backed by the mayor, called for the midnight curfew for teens to be brought up to 11 p.m. through August. The council approved it, and the legislation also allows the mayor and police chief to tackle hot spots with emergency curfew zones that could start as early as 8 p.m. Council members made some changes. Among them, it needs to be a group of 8 or more kids to be a violation.
A group of young people that are grabbing ice cream or leaving a basketball court could have gotten caught up in the original language, which had this at 3.
The new curfew also applies to 17-year-olds. Mike Murillo, WTOP News. Large groups of teens gathered.
A man who was supposed to be taking care of young people at a juvenile detention center in D.C. has been convicted of sexually abusing a girl there. A jury found 63-year-old Kelvin Powell of Temple Hills guilty on 16 counts of sexual abuse. He used to work for the D.C. Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services. According to evidence presented at trial, Powell repeatedly sexually abused a 17-year-old girl at D.C.'s Youth Services Center between late 2021 and early 2022, often isolating her in areas away from surveillance cameras. Powell faces a maximum of almost 38 years in prison at his sentencing set for September 5th.